My name's Kristen Grant. My partner is Malika Janjua, and we chose Asian women in the workplace to be the topic of our final presentation. In this project, we took a close look at how Asian women fare in the workplace in comparison to different ethnicities and gender identities. Asian Americans have been facing adversity in the U.S. workforce for a long time. The measure we mainly focused on in determining how Asian Americans compared to their counterparts was monetary compensation and overall percentages of the demographics in the workforce. While analyzing the statistics given from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, it became apparent that the Asian American community was excluded entirely from the data collection and was not included in the reports until the year 2003. Until 16 short years ago, the Bureau of Labor Statistics only reported Black, White, and Latinx demographics in the earnings reports. Once we had the earning information on the Asian American demographic, we decided to compare the percentages of each demographic in the U.S. workforce throughout the years in order to see if any possible significant increases or decreases in size existed. As you can see from comparing the data from 2003 to the most recent data available in 2017, there are only minor changes in the workforce. The white demographic decreased by 5%, the Latinx community increased by 3%, the Asian demographic increased by 2%, and the Black community remained unchanged at 11%. This trend is allowing for a more accurate reflection of the U.S. population in terms of representation in the workplace.
The problems with traditional anti-feminist epistemologies explain why there is such a significant gap in wages between genders. Specifically, the problem of men denigrating feminine cognitive styles and modes of knowledge. The data of women's earnings as percentages of men's ranging from 2003 to 2016 shows that Asian American women make significantly less compared to not only men, but also Black, White, and Latinx women. The highest percentage of earnings for Asian American women peaks in 2010 at around 82%, while in 2012 the earnings dropped down to a low of 72%. This gap in wages is a result of anti-feminists overpowering the workforce and degrading any slightly feminine ideals. Along with the percentage of earnings, the median salary for Asian American women is consistently less than the total median salary. Asian Americans are more likely to graduate college with better stats, yet are less likely to hold any leadership roles despite their advanced credentials. When comparing race/ethnicity, this bar graph shows that Asians in general have the highest percent, 68%, of people with a bachelor's or higher degree. When comparing the percentages of Asian women who have earned an associate's or bachelor's degree to Asian men, it can be seen that over half of them are women. Despite having a higher degree in education, as we'll see in the next slide, women don't maintain nearly as many leadership positions as men do. This graph shows the percentage of doctoral scientists and engineers employed in universities and four-year colleges who are full-time professors by race/ethnicity and sex from 2008. Only 9.3% of the entire demographic are Asian women, which is drastically less than the amount of Asian women with a higher degree. Here, the statistics show that only 2.9% of employees are Asian women compared to 27.4% of employees being white. The percent of CEOs that are white, 4.4%, is greater than the total amount of Asian women employees in the company.
Malika talked about feminist epistemologies, and we're going to tie this in further to the course content by talking about Asian epistemologies as well. The first example I'll use is excluding Asian Americans from inquiry. The antagonistic group in this example is, unfortunately, the U.S. government. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics did not even include Asian Americans in their earnings reports until the year 2003. By excluding them from the earnings report, the U.S. government was preventing the Asian demographic from having any impact on the demographic pay results that surfaced. The Asian demographics information was being withheld from the public due to no desire of their own. The second example, and to give a recap of what Malika covered in the previous slides, would be denying Asians and Asian Americans epistemic authority. By denying qualified Asians access to higher-level positions and overlooking their credentials, companies are denying Asians epistemic authority. The last example of Asian epistemologies we discovered while doing our research was anti-Asians denigrate Asian cognitive styles and modes of knowledge. This happens in the U.S. workplace, perhaps unintentionally, due to cultural differences. The difference lies in being respectful and being assertive in workplace situations. Being assertive is valued in corporate America, but contrastingly, being respectful and quiet in the same scenarios are cultural values shared amongst Asian countries. Because of cultural differences and contrasting cultural values, it's possible that Asian and Asian Americans are being overlooked for these positions. We have included an interview with Jane Hyung, an HR executive of 14 years and author of The Bamboo Ceiling. Let's take a look.
I define the bamboo ceiling as a combination of things. It's a combination of individual, cultural, and organizational factors that impede their career progress. They may think, well, why is he not saying anything? Why is she so quiet? Why is he not taking initiative? Whereas the individual is actually trying to respect the manager and give him that floor to have that authority to speak. So I think that those simple types of gestures that come from very good intentions can be misperceived by others, and that can impact how you're perceived in a performance front.
As Jane Hoon put it, the bamboo ceiling prevents Asian Americans from achieving any leadership or executive positions based solely on subjective factors that cannot be supported by any credentials or qualifications they have. To counteract these barriers, we should impose Hoon's advice that will be shown in the next clip.
If you want to lead diverse teams, global teams, multicultural teams, we can't let these issues just kind of slide. We need to have dialogues about them. We need cultural training. And we also need to empower the employees who are new to the workforce to understand what they need to be effective as well.
Malika and I believe that Hung said it best. Our recommendation to companies moving forward is to implement mandatory cultural diversity training in order to break down barriers for Asian American women. Thank you for watching.